And we're now live. Welcome to a slightly late edition of the BBE Live today. And today we're going to celebrate Valentine's Day a little bit early with some of our favorite people. But first, let's do the intro.
Nottingham ale, boys, Nottingham ale, no liquor on earth is like Nottingham ale. Nottingham ale, boys, Nottingham ale, no liquor on earth is like Nottingham ale. Nottingham ale, boys, Nottingham ale, no liquor on earth is like Nottingham ale. Nottingham ale, boys, Nottingham ale, no liquor on earth is like Nottingham ale.
Perhaps we should change that intro since we're no longer at least wearing masks here in our room. But anyway, thanks so much again for joining us at the BBE Live. My name is Thomas Allen. With you now, we're getting close to celebrating our 1-year anniversary, if that scares anybody. And would love for my friends, all of my friends, to introduce or be introduced by other friends.
All right, I'm Leanne Dale Ragusa. I'm streaming to you from Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm the resident flute player.
Awesome. And I am Brandy Berry Benson. I am another one of the directors of the BBE, and welcome to a special D'Amore edition because we have two fabulous oboists D'Amore here with us. Some of my favorite people ever, Curtis Foster and Meg Owens, that are joining us from actually both coasts. So Curtis is hailing from the West Coast and Meg is hailing from the East Coast. And thanks for showing us your D'Amores.
Came prepared.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for joining us, you guys. And it's so awesome to have you. And of course, also our resident flute player is also a flutist D'Amore player as well. So.
And you've also touched a viola D'Amore.
Yeah, I performed it a few times. I wish I had one of my own. If you're listening out there and have one you want to give to me, I will gladly accept that as a Valentine's gift. It will be in my future, at some point back again. So,
well, shall we launch into our games? And the first one up is, as always, Leanne.
I get to go first. Well, this is the Sordid Lives of Composers, but Valentine's Day edition. So, you guys are both saying, we'll just give you a rundown. So, I'll give you a little history, a little paragraph about a composer. There'll be 4 multiple choice answers on the screen that you get to choose from. But there'll be a little thinking music before you can give your answer. So, with that, let's get started. So, the first question, little Cupid. So, Cupid carries a bow and a quiver of arrows. And when he shoots an arrow into your heart, he inspires romantic feeling. Well, hopefully. Many operas and songs from the Baroque era set Cupid alongside his mother, or the goddess Psyche. This Spanish composer and harpist, who is considered to be the father of Spanish opera, revisits the story of Cupid and Psyche in his ironically upbeat song. And I'm totally going to look for the pronunciation of this, so enjoy. Disfrazado de pastor el amor, or in English, disguised as a shepherd, Cupid wanders about. Having been rejected by Psyche, Cupid is described as hopelessly depressed and as someone who doesn't know what to do with himself. The chorus sums up the sentiment of the song. But, how distressing, how the birds weep, how the wells swirl when they see Cupid lamenting about love. So, is this composer Santiago de Garcia, Juan de Hidalgo, Jose de Torres, or Sebastian Duran? But first, a little thinking music.
I have to say, I actually read the first one as Santiago de Murica.
I did too. When I found this composer's name, I was like, ha ha ha.
Anyway. Well,
Okay.
our guests should try first.
Okay, I have to say that I don't know, but I'm going to guess Hidalgo, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. Curtis, any guesses since you're a guest?
Yeah. Maybe I'll go with Murica. I don't know.
We'll have it covered.
Zero clue.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I know like Duran was like big in the zarzuelas, which could be, could be a leading into opera. However, I don't know. Part of me thinks it's Hidalgo, actually. So
I feel okay about that one.
I
do too.
also really go for Hidalgo as well.
Yeah, I remember he's like father of something, and so I'm gonna go B for the BBE.
We have 3 Hidalgos and 1 for Murica. So Hidalgo is correct. Yay!
Excellent.
Good job.
All right.
On to question number 2. Love turned truly disastrous for this Italian composer. When he was 24, he returned to his castle to discover his wife in bed with her lover that wasn't him. He brutally stabbed, slashed, and shot the pair, ensuring that they were in fact both dead. Despite undoubtedly being responsible for double murder, his noble status protected him from prosecution. He was, however, plagued by guilt for the rest of his life. As a composer, he is known for writing intensely expressive madrigals and pieces of sacred music that use a chromatic language not heard again until the 19th century. So, was it Gabriele, Gesualdo, Luzzaschi, or Galilei? But first, a little thinking music.
And I know exactly who this is, so.
All right, well, Thomas can't answer yet.
I have an idea.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer too.
Oh, good.
There's a very strange artistic kind of documentary about this with Alan Curtis. May he rest in peace. Gesualdo.
Yeah.
Famous weirdo.
Yes.
You are right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yay. All right. Good for us. Everybody got it.
So team. All right. The love triangle.
Oh, I know the answer.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm so excited. All right. What's the answer, Meg?
A.
All right. Let me read the question.
I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know. The love triangle of instruments carrying the suffix d'amore or of love, which includes the flute d'amore, the oboe d'amore, and viola d'amore, have a softer, sweeter tone than their more typical counterparts. These instruments reached the height of their popularity around the beginning of the 18th century. But which 18th century composer wrote a concerto which featured all 3 of the instruments of the love triangle? And first, a little thinking music.
Oh, okay. Go. Are you still right based on that? Okay, good.
Totally. It's definitely Telemon.
Meg. Okay, great.
So you guys are all going with Telemon?
You watch it be
Like
watch this be
Ron or
wrong.
something.
Are you 100% sure that it's Telemon?
I mean, I guess, some people will refer to that piece not using flute d'amore. They will say flute. So I don't know. I mean, that could be. That's the only hesitation I would have there. Curtis, over to you.
Yeah. I'll bet my future viola d'amore on it. That is
So actually, it's Graupner.
Oh, you're kidding.
Right,
He did write a huge amount of viola d'amore music. It's true.
right. So technically the Telemann it says flute.
Just flute, yeah.
Right. So, but specifically Graupner, so it is kind of a trick question because all of these composers wrote for some of the d'amore instruments. But yes, Graupner wrote for the love triangle.
Did Marika write for the d'amore instruments?
Marika,
No.
I need to do a little more research on Marika. I can get back to you on that one.
We should have a whole segment about him. That'd be great.
Right.
Awesome. Well, great job, Meg and Curtis. We survived that together, mostly because you two helped drag us along. But now we know we have moved on to my segment, which is called Thomas's Revenge and Cat Doppelgangers. And Curtis, I think you were our first guest. I don't remember if this was actually the game at that point, but I'll explain it for everybody at home. Basically, when we go to the next screen, I'll have 3 composer names up there, and we'll listen to a 30 to 50 second excerpt from a song or instrumental piece by them, and then we're going to take a guess, hopefully using maybe style characteristics or something like that. After we're done guessing, I will reveal the piece, who performed it, show a picture of the composer, and then show a picture of a cat doppelganger, which may or may not be related to the picture, but really is a reflection of how I felt at the time when I did this. So with that, here are your first 3 composers. And here is your excerpt. This one's about 50-ish seconds. I wanted to give a little bit extra for this one. I just love like those are like really great. All right, so let's see how we feel about like our medieval music. Any ideas to me?
B.
B. Why do you say that?
Because of the Norton Anthology of Music, Western Music, introducing me to that piece as an undergrad. And actually, they've changed the recordings now. They've updated them to Norton Anthology. So that's a different one than the one I learned.
Oh, okay.
At least, unless something very, very seismic has occurred in, what am I trying to say? If they figured out that somebody else wrote it by now, I would not even know. But I'd say B.
Right. Any other either guesses or knowing of facts?
Knowing of facts.
Meg's response is pretty compelling.
Meg, damn you and your knowledge.
Exactly.
I totally made C up. It's the version of Missouri, by the way.
Oh my! I didn't think that looked like anything I'd ever seen before.
Well, how do I write Missouri like not English? But the first one, Castellozza, actually is a composer as well, but a writer of songs. But yeah, you're correct. It is the Contessa, and this was like one of the only pictures of her that I could find anywhere, and it's great because it's so like very matter of fact. Really, I think she's around. It was in a manuscript, so they had kind of taken her out of the manuscript so you could see her a little bit more clearly. And this is, I think, her only piece that they have the extant music for as well, in addition to the words, which was pretty cool, pretty interesting. And my, of course, it's a manuscript, so I had to find a cat from a manuscript.
Oh, that's great.
Not the best one, but I thought it was pretty good.
I love it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Elizabeth Hardy says, "Is knowing of facts cheating?" What do we think?
No.
Well, some people would say so these days. If you turn on the radio right now, you might hear some of that.
Well, I have my alt fact, and that is that it was the Virgin of Missouri who wrote this piece. All right, great job, everybody. Good job, Meg, for knowing things. Good job. All right, so here we have 3 composers, all who enjoy dissonance, and that is going to be what we hear out of this next excerpt, about 30 seconds. All right, and that's your excerpt. Any thoughts?
Well, I can tell you it's definitely not Purcell. My guess would be Gesualdo.
Oh, I was going to guess Lordson.
I was gonna guess just Waldo because it sounded like they were saying Italian.
Yeah, I was
Tell
gonna,
us, is this a trick question?
It might be.
Purcell, isn't it?
I mean, it is titled "His Revenge," so I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, remember last week, Britain's I put in his Michelangelo or songs by Michelangelo, and those were in Italian. So
That's true. That's true. Yes.
I like the piece. Whatever it is, I definitely want to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you played that.
Leanne, any thoughts?
I'm gonna go with A too.
I'm going to go with A. So 2 Gesualdos, a Lordson, no Purcell. What does the cat think?
What do you say? This is Tamino. Say hi, Tamino.
Oh,
He's going to go for Purcell because he's really stupid.
Okay, good. So we have 2 Gesualdos, a Purcell, and a Lordson. Well, if you picked Gesualdo, you were correct. It was, in fact, Gesualdo. But I'm the reason why I put Lordson in there is because he actually does a lot of similar kind of dissonances, and like for instance, his chanson also like have that kind of like very wordiness in there too. So that was a good guess. And I loved this picture of Gesualdo I found just because of like the woman who's like photo bombing or dying in the background or something. And so then I was like, I had to find like a cat photo.
He has kind of like kabuki makeup on too.
Yeah.
that is not the greatest art I've ever seen.
It's great. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can send you that title, Meg, too. So you
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? We probably have it over there on the show. We have lots of Gesualdo, and it's not always super memorable because of the language that the harmonic. So I better revisit them. That's all I can say.
Awesome. Well, we survived. Actually, I didn't get too much revenge. Everything was taken out on Meg this time, it seems. But good job, everybody, for doing that one. And now we'll move to our last game. Brandy, take it away.
Oh, yes. So this one is called Two Truths and a Lie, and it's going to center around composer romance gossip. So I'm going to read 3 different statements, and then at the end of that, we'll have a little thinking music where you can determine which of the 3 statements is the lie. So we'll begin with number 1 here. So first statement. Mr. J.S. Bach met his second wife, Anna Magdalena, when she was hired at the same court that Bach was Kapellmeister. Second statement. J.S. and Anna Magdalena wed 6 months after the death of his first wife. And then the third statement, they had 13 children of their own together, and then together raised his children from his first marriage. So which one is the lie? And now for a little thinking music.
And just so we're clear, Brandy always likes to change like one word in a sentence to make it false. So there's not going to be a glaring issue with any of these.
I mean, I can't imagine that a person that she would have been hired. What would she have been hired to do? I mean, I don't know. Seems strange. Okay, Curtis, you answer it. I'm not good with people's personal lives.
Yeah. So I think they met in Curtin, is that right? Where it was his one non-church job. Would he have been a Kapellmeister? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
the children number, like, I thought a lot of his children died. It doesn't say that they didn't die, but like, was it that many? I could be completely wrong on that.
that's true.
I have a very general knowledge of these things, so I do not know the specifics. When you start putting the numbers in there, then it makes me not sure.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
go.
how many months it was.
I'm gonna go with the children one, just because I feel that the number, but we'll see.
Well, no.
Don't make me do it. You answer, Curtis.
Okay, it's the children.
All right, Leanne, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the first one.
Okay. Yeah, everybody put in their answers that they would like. It looks like we have a vote for one and then 2 votes for statement 3.
Yeah, Meg's the holdout, but
I mean, I would have said the first one too, because it was my first thought.
Excellent. Well, you are all stumped. It was actually the second one. They wed 17 months after the death.
Oh my God. I just did like on the SAT, you're supposed to go with your first thought
Yeah.
because there is a timeout. I was using my SAT skills.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I was thinking, like, what's shorter, like, what duration of time? 6 months seems like a little soon, but maybe not back then. I don't know. Maybe
well,
back
for
then.
Bob, he was ready to jump in. I mean, if he had 13 kids, clearly 6 months was too long to wait to get back on the bandwagon. So, like,
And they did have a lot of, I think it was like 7 of their kids actually passed or didn't make it up to like a certain,
Like adulthood.
grade school. Yeah. age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, good. We all failed.
all right, here's the next one. This is actually centered around Beethoven and his non-love life, or he tried many times. But so first statement is Beethoven planned to propose to Teresa Malfatti at her family's soiree by playing one of his pieces for her, but then got too drunk at the party to do it. Elise is dedicated to this Teresa Malfatti. And then the third statement, Beethoven proposed to Josephine, Teresa's sister, after the soiree incident. So now a little thinking music.
I mean, I can absolutely see number 1 being true. Oh, good.
I don't know a lot about this modern music, so I can't say.
God. You
I
early
have no idea.
were the worst.
No idea.
I don't know. Whichever one it is, Beethoven was sure a smooth operator, wasn't he?
Poor thing.
I hope it was number 1. That's all I got.
I'm going to go with number 3.
Cool. All right. Vote for number 1. Vote for number 3.
I'll go with the second one, so we have them all covered.
I'll go with the first one. Wait, that's the lie one, or no, which one is it?
Which one do you think is a lie?
Okay, I am going to. I have no idea. I'm sorry. I have no idea.
Just pick one.
They're all no. I don't know. I'll go with number 2. I don't know.
All right, cool. Well, so you're all stumped again. It's actually the third one. The third one.
I picked the third one.
The third one. Thomas wins it. Yay. All right. So Teresa, Josephine's sister was actually Teresa von Brunswick, so Beethoven did propose to Josephine, but it wasn't. It was actually before, and it wasn't related to anything to do with the soiree incident. And actually, the Für Elise thing was really cool. I was reading a bit about that because he apparently came from like he very like illegibly scribbled, for Therese, and then like through a series of events, like it got copied in as for Elise, and so
Oh.
anyway, it's a cool little story. If you just Google it, you'll find it right there. But yeah, so the third one is the lie. So yay, Thomas, you the winner. All right.
I'm glad the first one happened. That's brilliant. I love it.
I know. When I read that, I was like, that is pretty awesome. And I could see that, All right. The next is a series of different composers. So it'll be 3 different statements here. The first being both Arcangelo Corelli and George Friedrich Handel never married. That's statement 1. Statement 2 is that Dietrich Buxtehude married the daughter of his predecessor, Franz Tunder, whose post he accepted at St. Mary's Church in Lübeck. And then third, Handel, Matheson, and Bach turned down Buxtehude's offer to succeed him as organist, presumably because the offer also included that they would have to marry his eldest daughter, Anna Margareta. So, which one is the lie? And now a little thinking music.
Well, number 3, I mean, Handel and Matheson weren't into women, and Bach was married, so, I mean, you could see why none of them would want to marry Anna Margareta. Handel never married. I don't know about Corelli.
Yeah.
Number 2 sounds like a thing. I'm going to guess number 3.
Cool.
Wait, that you think that is not true?
I think that's
number
a
3
lie.
is not true.
There's a part of me that says number 3 as well, because I can't help but think that at the time nobody would include marrying their daughter in the position of the church, but maybe. I don't know. So I'm with you, Curtis. Number 3.
Maybe it was implied. Maybe it wasn't like in the contract.
True.
Sorry, Monty Python just went through my head.
I don't know about Corelli either, and I certainly don't know the second. I don't know. I'm totally stumped.
Well,
All right, well, we're going to use the GRE method. Just pick one you haven't picked in a while. Go for it.
I'm gonna go with the last one. Third.
All right, cool. So we've got, have all 3 or 4 of you said number 3?
Well, Curtis, Leanne, and I picked 3. I think Meg's still.
What do you
I
think?
don't know. I was going to pick 1 or 2.
Well, pick one.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything about Corelli, so I'll pick that one.
Okay, excellent. Well,
I mean, I shouldn't have said I don't know anything about his personal life. I certainly do not know one thing about Corelli's personal life. Do not know one thing about that.
and not many people do. As a matter of fact, there's not much out there about his personal life, but we do know that he never married, and it's actually number 3. So it was only Handel and Matheson that turned down Buxtehude's offer. And it was kind of a thing for some of the posts to like include that if they had a daughter, as like, well, you get to marry my daughter if you accept this position.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was true.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, it was Handel and Matheson for that one.
Oh, that's funny. Whoops.
Yes.
I love that one.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, the things you find out.
You know what? It's funny, Meg, when you made the joke about all this modern music for Beethoven, I tend to not. Okay, that's a lie. I have started tempering my responses to stupid people online now, and I made this comment on somebody's video because they were like, "Oh, a great gateway into contemporary music is Rachmaninoff and Samuel Barber." I was like,
Well, I mean,
a little late.
yeah, but if you look at school curriculums and stuff, I mean, you would think that people still did think that because it's so hard for people to move beyond, it's like Stravinsky is like,
Right.
So
True.
anyway.
And yeah, we're at Stravinsky. That's old fashioned.
And plus people don't know the difference between contemporary and modern. Like modern doesn't mean it was written yesterday. It's a whole nother thing,
Yeah, definitely. I was just recalling when you said, "Oh, Beethoven, that modern music." There was at IU for my second recital, we did the Beethoven septet, and Nigel was one of the guys that sat in, and I was just like thinking how he like blew his little lute braids out with our modern music. You know, sorry, Nigel, if you're watching. I'm sure you remember that moment.
So I have a question for y'all. So since we have oboe d'amore, we have flute d'amore, and we have viola d'amore, and there's no like voice d'amore, right? So I'm really curious, and this is where some of my ignorance shines through. Why are some instruments called d'amore, or why are some of them included in that? Is there like a common thread between like these three d'amore versions?
That's why.
I don't know which came first, the name or I don't know, but this is called the Liebesfuß, which means love foot. I'm not making this up.
That sounded like something totally different.
So I don't know if it was named the Liebesfuß because it's the oboe d'amore, or if it's the other way around. If that makes sense.
I mean, there already were d'amore instruments in Leipzig then, so it may have been named. I don't know. I don't know which, or do they say, "Oh, good, this will work out for the d'amore thing for oboe." But they sound different. They do have like on oboe. You've got you've got holes in the bell, vent holes.
Mhm.
See that hole right there? I'm like mirror image, and then you don't have any holes here, which makes the sound different. And also, the tone holes of the d'amore like start so much lower. Well, where are my tone holes? So that also affects the sound. I mean, it definitely has it's remarkably different from oboe. So it is definitely an instrument that pairs better with the d'amore instruments, and it belongs in that category totally.
Is that true, Leanne? Like, does your flute, in terms of like a traverso versus like a flute d'amore, like, does it have similar kind of differences like that, or?
Yeah, while it doesn't have the love foot, maybe it has love glue. So it's kind of it's still the same. Like the bore thickness is the same, but it's a lot longer. So it's kind of like on modern instruments, it's kind of between the regular flute and the alto flute. I kind of think of it as like the mezzo voice because it's still similar to the regular flute, but it's also in a different key. So mine is in A major.
Same with our love foot. Yep.
Love foot.
It's also an A. Yeah.
What about your love viola? Is it?
Yeah, the love viola. Yeah, which one day I will possess my own. But I mean, just by virtue of well, first you can have a 6 or a 7 string model, and then there's that same set of sympathetic strings underneath it. So it's as far as like sitting on your shoulder, it's certainly a very different physical feel, but also the way that it plays. You can hear and experience the sympathetic strings ringing along as you're playing. But then because it has the 6 and 7 strings, it can grab a lot of the lower range, go lower than a regular violin. And so it can grab some of that, viola or alto range, as well as still, keeping up with some of the E string range that the violin has. And then, of course, there's like over 30 something different tunings that you can do to pick. But the most common is the D major, is a D major chord. And that's really its sweet spot, so to speak, as far as like its sweet key. And that was something. So when I did it, because I actually did a recital on it at DePaul, and so I picked, of course, I picked stuff that was all in D major, and that was in front of a couple of St. John's Passions that I played, where I actually tuned it to a C minor chord, so that the E flat string and the G would have that same kind of resonant quality as well that the D major string. And it's kind of a little weird to have a string labeled as E flat or sharp and D major. But it is such a cool sound. But yeah, as far as like physically too, navigating the strings, you know, I was talking with, I actually distinctly remember Allison Edward being like, yeah, it's like A.5, you know, you get to this other string here. Like, you know, it's like kind of like these little halves, you know, positions between your strings, which is pretty cool.
Oh, Elizabeth is helping us out here.
Oh, yes.
I was going to see if Curtis knew that one. Yeah.
Elizabeth, that is not nice.
It's not loud enough to be a goose.
You know, I used to take my alto. So like the way you learn a saxophone is you always start with the mouthpiece, and then sometimes you add the little crook. But if you do that, it makes kind of a sound. And outside of my house, there's a big pond when they installed the golf course in West Virginia. And so I would sometimes go out with it. I'd be like, and of course then the geese would respond. So like
you were speaking their love language.
I was. It's the saxophone d'amore.
Yeah. Excellent. That's awesome. Well, have y'all played on your d'amore recently, or did this episode inspire you to like, oh, I'm going to take this thing out and play on it a little bit?
So I actually got a new d'amore a little over a year ago, and I have not played it in public yet.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have its first outing in April of last year.
Oh, dang.
So
I've played mine for lessons, you know, but of course not in perform and like lecture demo, anything you can where it's like, now's our chance to make a separate video on the history of the oboe that the students may or may not listen to. Then I'll pull it out. But anyway.
Excellent.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Curtis a question. So can I ask her? So out of our like 120 something obbligati by Bach, do you have a favorite for oboe d'amore? Because like at least half of them are for oboe d'amore.
I mean,
it's hard to pick a favorite because they're all so different. I
mean,
know, but
could I honestly say that I know all of them? I mean, no, I certainly haven't played all of them.
I certainly have not either.
Me neither.
Okay, how about what's the one that you wish you could play again, or that you were really drawn to when you did play it that you hadn't known?
I mean, I
before?
always really love playing the Cuissedes, the B minor mass, you know.
Yeah, I think that's our most top 10 hit, probably.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know. That's a tough question. I'd have to sit down and think about that.
I was also thinking about that. I mean, I feel like I would like to play Cantata 23 more often, because that one is really good for for the two d'amores, and I definitely would want to play the second part because it gets more low notes. Yeah.
It's a very macho goose.
Yeah, there are a lot of really beautiful two d'amore, like opening choruses and things in some of these cantatas that are really quite magical.
Yeah, and not easy either. Like you really have to. It's really something to sink your teeth into when you do get to play them. So I can't wait to do it again.
Me too.
Is it more difficult to play a d'amore versus like another model, so to speak?
I think it depends on the d'amore, because not all d'amores are created equal. Some d'amores are really quite wonky as far as pitch, like intonation, and also response. And like the one that I just got, I love because it's naturally very resonant, and the tuning is good, and the response is good all over the instrument. I can't wait to play it in public. Meg has the same sort of d'amore as I do, but
did Randy make your new one?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he made the debut.
Mine is Shermer, actually, but he did work on it. But
very
yeah, it worked. It plays great. I mean, I was gonna say it plays great. I love playing it. I mean, especially because on modern instrument, like the modern equivalent, oboe d'amore, it's like playing a ferret with holes punched in. It is just so. It is so and the sound is just so unattractive, I think. And the Baroque one just feels like, oh yes, this is an oboe. Okay. I forgot. And it doesn't have kind of the resistance and squirreliness of the modern one. So it is really totally easier to play. I wish all oboists would try it. Like all oboists of all walks of life would try the oboe d'amore, the Baroque one.
What was y'all's experience like? So I know, like, from like string players, they're, I don't know, every time I talk to a lutenist or something, like, oh yeah, he's working on it, it'll be like 5 years or something like that. Like, what is the experience of getting a instrument either made or buying one from like a woodwind maker? Is that like the same kind of like length of time? Are you really intimately involved with them? Like,
it depends on the maker. There are some
Totally.
makers that get you an instrument in a couple of months. Some you have to wait for years. I mean, the guy that made my new d'amore, I got it in about a year, which is unusual. People usually have to wait about, I think for his regular model oboes, it's what, a 3-year wait? Just 3 years? Yeah. I'd say on average it's closer to a year generally for most makers. As far as intimately involved, I mean, usually you just email them and say, I want an oboe and I want this model, and if you want a certain kind of wood or something, you ask for that. But
I mean, sometimes you can go and visit and play your instrument for them and get certain tweaks done that or they can illuminate you on whether it's you or the instrument, or your setup. There's a lot of variables because you have to deal with the thing that goes in your oboe, staple. So sometimes you can really get in the weeds with that if you go and visit the maker.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I just Yamaha. I can,
You just order it and it comes.
Yeah, they're all basically the same, so it's fine.
For me, it was a little different because the flute d'amore is not as popular, so not very many makers make them. So I actually had to find somebody that has made one, and then I had to commission him to make me one. So,
Who did you get to make it?
Venner in Germany.
Oh. And is your flute d'amore softer than your flute, or just lower?
I would just say lower because I specifically wanted it in grenadilla, which helps louder. So
it helps with what?
The wood makes it louder.
Oh, okay.
Because usually it's probably a boxwood.
Yeah, so this is boxwood, this blonde wood.
Boxwood.
Yeah.
Boxwood fan here.
Yeah.
Me too.
I prefer grenadilla, which is the blackwood. So.
Is bamboo a thing for those? I mean, it's
no,
important, which is probably not. I'm curious.
I sure hope not.
No.
The reason I asked is, like, everybody's getting into like sustainable materials, right? And so like people are like, oh, I'll make this out of bamboo, yada yada. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like that would go very well with like an instrument if you're worried about like condensation collecting within the instrument.
Well, I mean, some instruments could be, some flutes and whistles and things can be bamboo. I mean, they're not gonna have like turnings and bulbs and things all over them. They're just gonna be simple because that kind of wood wouldn't allow this sort of woodworking.
Yeah. Does anybody have a more intelligent question? This is coming from somebody who doesn't know anything.
No, I think that's a good question.
Yeah. Is it all? So I know that. I mean, the d'amore comes in several different pieces, right? Three pieces or
3.
Yeah. Well, is it all one wood? I mean, or do they? Because I remember we were hearing once from one of the cornetto players that they sometimes use multiple different kinds of wood. For sure, on the island they're using multiple kinds. So
you can do it. Some people will get a different bell. For example, like rosewood makes a nice bell. I mean, some people just would, but I feel like it's more the bell that people would swap out. But I don't know.
there's an oboe builder in Oregon outside of Portland, and he makes a classical oboe, and he typically uses 2 different kinds of wood, because I think that the original that the instrument is copied after is actually 2 different kinds.
It is. I've played that one. I've tried it because Jeffrey has it.
Oh, right.
That's right up the road. Pardon?
How is the original?
It's great. It plays great. Yeah.
Plays nicely.
I mean, it was altered, but it like to modernize it a little bit, but it plays great. Yep.
And when was there a revival for the oboe d'amore like there was, I mean, for all the other period instruments? I mean, or did that kind of come later? Or, I mean, like, how did you stumble upon the oboe d'amore? Was that around the time you stumbled upon the Baroque oboe just in general?
Yeah, if you're going to take up the Baroque oboe, you have to take up the d'amore.
Yeah.
You're going to spend over half your life playing Bach, and you're going to spend half that time playing the oboe d'amore.
Yep.
So
there's a huge number of solos that he wrote for both instruments. They're about equal, actually, for the cantatas and passions. So you can't not play it. But but you don't like, that's not your beginner instrument. I mean, you start on the soprano oboe, and then you quickly become enmeshed in the dark side and get yourself a d'amore.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Slippery slope.
Yes. Oh my God. I was speaking of new instruments. I also just got a new one. So we need to get the pandemic over with, because all these woodwind players who've been amassing new instruments during the time and learning them and becoming fabulous so that we can be ready to go out in public. Let's go.
I just got a new classical oboe last week.
Let's go.
I'm so ready.
Oh no, Kris Kwapis, but I don't. There's nothing. Kris
is speechless.
She had a love.
She was trying to chime in with the trumpet d'amore.
Yes. Now that would be interesting.
Which apparently doesn't exist because there's nothing to say about it. So.
It's an instrument in the making, while pandemia has been going on, and people have been.
It's got a bulb instead of that flared thing.
I do know, Kris,
it's totally closed off.
A slide trumpet recently.
A what?
A slide trumpet.
Oh yes.
Excellent. I love this feature. It's very fun.
Well, maybe the trumpet d'amore, the tassel would be there. Like the love tassel.
What's the German word for tassel? The Vita tassel.
No, but can we all admit that we want to put a tassel on our instruments? It's not fair that only the trumpets get that.
I mean, Marty.
I want one.
To survive this pandemic, we're gonna wear our pandemic tassels.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's have like an official one that looks similar, and let's all wear it.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't wait to make some.
Yes.
I'm already excited.
Get on that. You're the crafty one.
I'm already excited. Wouldn't that be fun?
We're commissioning you.
It'll have to have a certain name, somebody come up with the name, because I'm not good with that. The name of the tassel, like that signifies our emergence from the darkness into light or something like that.
Yeah, Brandy, we should put you on that. Take like a big, all of your BBE fans can write in with suggestions.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, fun. It could be a fundraiser.
I like this.
Wait, but we've also, I think, Leanne, you've played with tinsel on your instrument before, and I think you've had a little something dangling off the end. When we do like Christmas gigs, we'll like dress everything up, and like Leanne goes all out. She'll like bring like little elf hats and like. But
I'm shocked.
For like one time.
I have played with we one time we went we were playing Christmas oratorio with Apollo's Fire. This is with our beloved Wash, and we ran off the stage. Like we had to do this complicated going behind the choir, loft and back in to play your solo out in the front and all of this. So we went back there and put gift wrapping stuff all over the instruments and burst out for our aria for the cantata number 3. And we were like, are we going to get in trouble? We thought, so what? So,
Yeah, Jeanette didn't freak out.
so Jeanette's eyes were like, "Huh," but she was into it. She was into it. We used gold, they
There you
matched.
go. Yeah, matched. Gold and purple.
Bows and all these streamers hanging down. I mean, just imagine Wash with that.
Oh.
So great.
And it's like, is it Christmas or is it Mardi Gras for him?
Didn't matter.
I'm trying to coax Kris into the StreamYard, by the way. Since she's been like responding to all of these.
Yeah, she wrote, "You too, Kid Tessel."
Yes.
I think we should totally do it.
There
Oh,
you
that's great.
go. Yes.
It's a verb now.
Yes, we love her.
Maybe Kris can make us some little ornaments to hang on our tassels.
I like
Actually, Mandy, you're still doing your arts and crafts as well, right? I think you're doing like bags, weren't you?
Are you talking to me?
No,
Who?
Mandy. Sorry, Meg. Meg, you're doing bags, right?
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
fun
want
to
to
write it out.
look? I made look how cute. You look how cute. This is my coaster.
Yes, it's
Chris.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Special guest.
This is an extra special. Yes.
So tell us about the trumpet d'amore.
I'm totally crashing your party.
Yes, please.
Oh, the party is finally started, actually.
Oh, is that the trumpet d'amore? That's really pretty.
If you just put like a bag over it or something, would it become a trumpet d'amore?
Like a mask.
A beautiful one. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
By the way, in the YouTube description of this, I'm literally going to put, and Kris Kwapis introduces us to the trumpet d'amore. And there's totally going to be some trolls that come be like, that's not real.
What? What is that? What is a trumpet d'amore?
And be sure to use.
This
Oh,
tea delivery.
nice. I also had a tea delivery earlier. It was very nice.
A tea delivery service.
Yes, it's very important.
It's
TDS.
the shining star of the pandemic.
Yes, exactly.
Look at this cute mug that my sister sent me.
Oh, that's cute.
Curtis's other hobby he picked up in the middle of the pandemic.
Being
That
a
is really
unicorn.
No more work as a d'amore player. No. But pole dancing is right up there.
That's right. In
And
my
I think
costume.
I think you can use tassels both as a noun and a verb with pole dancing.
Oh my God, we could totally open a Just for Fans site based on this whole concept.
If it doesn't already exist.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I think it probably does.
Historically accurate tasseling.
Yes.
Yes, that's the HAT movement.
Great.
I bet this was an actual show before I started chiming in. And so my apologies.
No,
No, it's good. It's good.
we
all
wanted
good.
God. It's
No,
been
this is
a working day without you. So yeah.
Drop in anytime. Absolutely.
Seriously. You know what? The trumpet d'amore will be excellent clickbait for us. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. They'll think it's some kind of like scholarly conference about the finer points of trumpet d'amore, with a semicolon, like trumpet d'amore, how much do you love the trumpet?
I heard that the trumpet d'amore was just rediscovered on a tapestry in a castle, a 17th century tapestry in a castle
In
in
Moravia.
Moravia.
Wow.
Fascinating. I
And
saw
so-
that. Yes.
So you went into your workshop and you spent a whole week.
He froze.
Oh no.
That was like really important too.
That was. I know.
it was really important. And the iconography. I mean, there's tassels all
Yeah.
over the trumpet d'amore.
Tassels. It's basically a tassel with a bell.
A tassel that makes sound.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Kris. Do you have like a drawer full of tassels?
You know, I don't. And if you actually want to get into this topic,
I do.
I have actually had students do tasselectomies and take off their tassels because, get this, they're kind of annoying because they sway. Like if you move at all while you play, they'll sway and they'll be kind of annoying. So I at least know of 2 of my students who have performed tasselectomies. And only certain makers actually include the tassel, especially the eggers that are made in Switzerland and Basel. As far as I know, those are the main instruments that actually have tassels. And I only have a tasseled instrument. My only trumpet with a tassel is an egger that is a high trumpet. And I actually try to wrap part of the cording around so that the tassel doesn't sway so much when I'm playing. Little known.
Based on those manuscripts, we know that that's a serious issue with trumpet de Maury's.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I found one of them. Is this not one of the examples?
Yes. Well, that's actually a Renaissance trumpet de Maury.
Tassel is really big.
It's mostly it's found at the cusp of the medieval and Renaissance periods. So,
Speaking of Monty Python,
That looks more like a shopping bag or something than a tassel, or like a purse.
that is the medieval tassel, and as we know,
You play this, Kris?
I'm sorry.
Do you play this?
I'll let you go first. I'll let you play it first. No, I have not actually played that trumpet, although probably some critics in the New York Times might say that my playing could resemble that. This has really turned into a whole different thing. You guys were probably certainly very scholarly.
I have to say, actually, this would be a great show to do for April Fool's.
It kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, or like everyone could come up with the name of instrument, D apostrophe whatever.
You know what?
You
You're
could
all re-invited. All right.
All right.
All are re-invited for April 1st. No,
I'm starting to think about it already.
I don't know. I might have something on my calendar that day.
Oh, I'm going to feeter this instrument right here.
This
This is the instrument I'm going to have.
Ooh.
Can of air.
Ooh.
Oh, a can?
It is of air. You have to use air to play it.
I was gonna say, Kris, in this world, you can just pre-record your 2-minute lecture that we're gonna ask you to give and just send it.
Yeah. Well, you need a prospectus and an abstract.
Make sure it's got a colon in the title because that is the thing.
Hey, it's not just me.
No,
We're all doing this now. I'm not the only one that has homework.
Oh, totally.
Come on.
Believe me, I'm in.
Okay. We should probably stop now, but
probably so.
But
we haven't talked about Tchaikovsky's love life yet.
Oh.
Tell us about Tchaikovsky's love life.
It's not family friendly.
This stuff.
Go look up what he was doing when he wrote the violin concerto, Brandy.
Oh, yes, I know.
Another one of those modern composers.
Definitely not a Hallmark movie, that's for sure.
all right, so I think we actually will have homework, because I think after this I'm going to Facebook everybody and say, let's do this and let's come up with a few others. We can scout this one out. Maybe we'll do a special April Fool's version. But thanks so much to our guests, especially our surprise guest Kris, who came on at the last.
Yay, great.
And Mary, thanks so much for coming on. This was a blast.
So fun to see all of y'all.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right,
Good
and
to
we'll
see
I guess
everyone.
you in some form or fashion for the April 1st. All right, cool. But this has been another BBE Live. We'll be back next Friday with other special guests. Maybe Kris and Curtis will jump in too. It'll be a party. Until then, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next week.